here with Efaaf Jaber, and I'm going to be interviewing her today. So has the conflict in Palestine affected you in any way, like emotionally or personally?
Very much so, you know. I mean, as much as I would love to go there and things like that, it's a major chore. You know, you feel like you're not welcome. You know, my mom lives there, and I worry about her plenty. And my mother-in-law, you know, and my husband's family. I mean, they're all there, and I have a lot of family there, and I worry about them plenty. You know, so it does affect me.
Mom, raise your voice.
Have you thought about relocating them here until the conflict is resolved, or is that their home?
That's their home. My mom lived in New Jersey until she retired, and when they retired, they built a house back where they were born, and she will not come here. I mean, she wants to die in her country.
And yeah, I wouldn't want to come back to the country that played a role in establishing and perpetuating the exploitation and mistreatment of my own people.
You know, my grandfather fought for this country, which is ironic. He was in the military for this country, and that's what brought my family here. And yet, they don't have peace there.
I'm sorry. Have you visited Palestine? I mean, I already know.
Yes, I have. First time I went was in 1983, and I had gone with my dad and my sister. And then again in 86, when I got married, I went. And a few more times after that. So I would say I've been here at least 6 times.
So you've been there plenty. How recent was your last visit to Palestine?
The last time I went was 3 years ago. That was and it was very different. I mean, the roads were different, the wall had gone up. The traveling from point A to point B was a lot harder. You know, a route that would take you 20 minutes was now an hour and a half.
Who put the wall in place?
The Israelis. It separates the Palestinians and Israelis.
That's really, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you feel safe while you were visiting?
No, I mean, at times I would say, okay, maybe, but there was one time I had taken my girls, and it took 3 cab rides to get to where I was going, because they only allow, you would have to take an Arab cab driver, and they would only allow him to go so far, and then I'd have to get out, walk to the next stop, get in another cab. So it took 3 cab rides to get to our location, and then when we got there was gunfire, and I took my girls and took 3 cab rides back to the village to keep them away.
Right. So you didn't feel safe necessarily?
No, not at all times. I mean, at any moment they can come and round up people, and we worry about especially men. You know, that was the main thing. So I would worry about my husband and my nephews.
Are American citizens often rounded up when they go to visit?
It depends on what side they stand for. You know, if you go with a group that is going to Tel Aviv and things like that, you're probably going to be very safe, as long as you don't travel with Palestinians. And if you're going to the Palestinian areas, then you're pretty much putting your life in your own hands.
So it's not no form of citizenship is...
It doesn't matter. I mean, I've said several times, but I'm an American, and they would use a foul language about America.
Were you welcomed warmly when you visited Palestine as an American citizen?
No.
No.
As soon as you arrive there, in the airport, there's they look at your passport. If you're Palestinian, you need to move to the side. If you're Israeli, they tell you welcome home, welcome to Israel. They ask you to go get your baggage, and then they search your baggage, and then you're asked several questions on why you're here, who are you visiting, and then they ask you questions that are pretty much ridiculous because when my father passed away, and it took 10 days to get his body back overseas because he wanted to be buried over there, and they asked my sisters who were detained for 3.5 hours, and they were like, we're just going to bury my dad. And they were like, what's your great-great-grandmother's name? What's your great-great-great-great-grandmother's name?
Like information that they wouldn't expect an Israeli citizen to be able to...
But these are things you as an American-born child would not know.
Right.
You know? And because you did not know it, they detained you.
So, in terms of like, the way I meant that question to be, because that ended up answering number one of them, and but no, I meant like among the Palestinian people, like in the villages that you visited, aside from your relatives, were they welcoming?
Oh yes.
Even though you were an American.
Oh
citizen?
yes. Yeah. They looked at you like you were
One of their own.
One of their own, and at the same time, like the gifted, you know, that, oh my God, she's from America, you know.
So do they want to be here, or?
I think a lot of them do. You know, they do and they don't. You know, it's like they do because of money-wise. There's more opportunity in America than over there. I have a brother-in-law there that has 5 children. And he leaves the house at 4 in the morning and goes through the wooded areas to get to work because the Israelis try to keep you unemployed.
Right.
And he's trying to make an honest living for his family, so he would leave early in the morning. So his wife would not know, is he going and coming back, or is he not coming back?
Right, because they could just round him up.
Yes.
How do you feel about the separate governing bodies like between Gaza and the West Bank?
As far as Gaza, I went to it. I went to Gaza. My sister married a guy from Gaza, and I was able to go, which it is absolutely gorgeous at the time that I did go. And then I was on a trip there once, and my brother-in-law's mother had passed away, and I could not go pay my respects because they would not allow us in. He was not allowed at his mother's funeral. They let him sit on the border for 3 days, and they kept denying him entrance. So then he called his family and said, just go ahead and bury him. So,
and this was Israel keeping him out?
Yeah.
Because of Hamas?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Hamas? Or
I don't care for the certain groups, you know. It's just like when Yasser Arafat. It's the media. The media makes the person look worse than they really are. You know. They keep telling you that Ariel Sharon is this loving peacemaker, yet he destroyed many villages and had them ordered dead. So he's not a terrorist in the media's eyes, yet
he's a terrorist as a person.
But yet Yasser Arafat, the media wanted the American people to believe is a terrorist. You know?
Have you, does it strike an emotional chord when you hear about these houses in Palestine, these whole generations of families that are being decimated by bombs from Israel? I was reading it.
It's very upsetting. It is upsetting to me. It's upsetting to me that the United States condones and turns a blind eye to injustices and things like that. You know, for a country that is so hell-bent on world peace, you know, and justice for everyone, yet it means nothing. When the Soviet wall, it was this big thing that the Soviet wall must come down, but yet they're allowing Israel to build a wall to keep the Palestinians out. So I just don't understand that.
I think it's got a lot to do with skin color, religion. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But that is how I feel personally.
It's a shame, but it's very true. You know, I mean, I think that the United States has more Israeli ties than the average American person is led to believe. I think, me personally, I think that Israel is running this country.
I understand.
You know, if it's not good for Israel, then it's not good for the U.S., which I don't understand.
Right. How do you feel about Palestine gaining its position as a non-member state according to the UN?
I loved it. I was very happy. You know, I mean, it's long overdue. You know, I was very disappointed that the United States voted against it.
Yeah, that was a lot of shame.
You know, it hurt me, you know, as being an American born.
The country you're contributing to as a citizen.
You know, and yet my country is the one that would, and then they wonder why so many people overseas don't care for
American people.
Yeah, I mean when the American people are one of the very few that are against you.
Do you advocate the two-state solution? Like, do you feel like it would be effective in eradicating the conflict?
I think two states is long overdue, but me personally, I think that it's been pushed aside for a very long time as they give Israel more and more time to take more land.
Yeah, they just keep colonizing.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, from the UN resolution 242, I believe it is, says that they need to go back to the borders of 67, I believe it was. I think it was borders before 67, something like that. And that's, I think, the only way you would make us, the Palestinians, happy, because all this land that was ours is now not ours.
And they just keep taking it.
And they keep taking it, and I think that once they're finished on taking exactly what it is that they want, then the United States will say, okay, let's sign a paper.
Well, how do you feel about the United States agreeing to not pursue any sanctions or anything against Israel for the exploitation, like the taking of the land? I mean, that I was appalled when I read it.
It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot on the things that us as I thought what I thought was a superpower are not willing to do. You're willing to do for everything else, every other country, but you're not willing to put your foot down for Israel. You know, when I was there, bullets that were being shot, and I had recorded one pre-Katrina. They had rounded up a whole bunch of the young men in the village, and after they had gone and everything, I found a rubber bullet, and I knew I couldn't bring it back with me, so on it said "Made in the USA," which was very upsetting, so I recorded it. I was like, so we are providing them with the weapons and ammo
that they're using against their own people.
And we as a country have people on the street living homeless, and people that are hungry, and people that are uninsured, yet we give billions and billions of dollars to Israel to keep them going.
And to keep your people exploited and subdued.
Yeah.
Has the conflict, has it affected your faith at all? Like, the conflict, has it strengthened it or weakened it at all?
I have always been very proud to be a Muslim and very proud to be Palestinian. You know, I learned a lot more of what it means. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I try to raise my daughters to be the same. You know, after 9/11, I learned exactly who my true friends were. You know, I had a neighbor. My girls had come home from school, and my girls were like, "Mom, they said to light a candle and to stand outside for the people missing in the World Trade Center." And I got 4 candles, and I took my girls outside, and we lit a candle, and we stood there at 7 o'clock, like they had said on the news. And my neighbor, who sat at my kitchen table every day and had coffee with me, came outside, said, "What are you doing?" I told her that they told the girls to do this in school, and that's what we're doing. And she leaned over and said, "So, did you know any of them?"
That's like whenever there's, that's equivalent to asking a white American if they know the person who was responsible for the Sandy Hook shooting.
So she left me. She left me
atrocious.
speechless. You know, and at the time I had called and asked my daughter's principal at Trip not to put my daughter on the school bus because I was scared of, and they hadn't even announced who had done it yet. I was scared of what might happen to my daughter and my nephew on the bus with their peers. So they were like, "Oh, Miss Jaber, nothing's going to happen." You know, well, I picked them up that day, and we went to my brother-in-law's house because we went to gather because we didn't know what to expect. And she starts crying, and I'm like, "Why are you crying?" And she said, "My teacher." So her teacher called my child a terrorist. So I was speechless. I called Miss Ciano, and I was like, "You told me to not worry about my daughter. I didn't have to worry about the peers. I had to worry about the teacher." You know? So I had seen him a couple of weeks later for Parents' Night, and he said, "So whose parent are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm Amanda Jaber's mom." So he comes out with, "Oh, you really can't believe everything your child says." And I said, "Oh, no, I believe everything my child says." So he turns around, he looks at me, and he says, "Well, come on, be honest. Every time we have a problem in this country or the world, it's from your people."
Did he lose his job?
Yeah, that was his last year at Trist.
I'm sorry that you
So, things like that. I can't even remember what your question was because
I'm glad that it hasn't affected your faith, and I'm really glad I'm getting this information. I appreciate it. And I'm really proud of you and your whole family for taking on this job. It means a lot to me personally as an ally.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this as your senior project, which is, hopefully, students will see this and look at it in a different light, where my daughters have to face. I'm so tired of my kids going to school and coming home and saying so-and-so called me a terrorist, So I appreciate it, and thank you for doing this project.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of content, but it's good.
Okay.